Alright, good to know you're still very much on the other side of the radio. And welcome to Economic Trend, the program that gives you the trend on business and economic stories. My name is Ololade Sanyaolu. Okay, so starting with the very first story, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, has asked Nigerians not to expect an automatic impact in the prices of goods and services following the news that the economy has exited recession. The association says the expected impact will come if certain key issues, were duly addressed by the federal government. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) on Tuesday announces that Nigeria has exited its worst economic recession in more than 2 decades, notching up growth of 0.55% in the second quarter of 2017. Addressing newsmen at a briefing in Lagos on the forthcoming 45th Annual General Meeting, NMA President Dr. Frank Jacobs says the questions that should be on the lip of everybody is whether the announced growth in the economy is real, sustainable, and could engender inclusiveness. MAN, according to Jacobs, believes that with appropriate mix of policies and concerted effort of all stakeholders, the growth rate will eventually become inclusive and impact the lives of over 180 million Nigerians. Jacobs believes that there is very little the government can do on a short-term basis to make Nigerians feel the impact of the exit from recession. Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has warned Nigerians against using substandard phones. The commission says such phones are responsible for some of the cancer ailments being suffered by the citizens. The regulatory body also identified unapproved phones as a major cause of network interruptions, which also have negative implications on the health of users. An official of the NCC, Mr. Kunle Ololade, addressing phone sellers at Fayoshe Market in Ado-Ekiti during a stakeholders sensitization workshop, expresses concern that fake phones have taken over the country's telecommunications market. He warned sellers of unapproved ICT products that they were flouting the NCC Act and could face prosecution or seizure of their market items. Alright, going to Benue State now. Presidency is to dredge the river Benue, whose water has flooded most parts of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, and other parts of the state. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo announces the project while inspecting flooded area in Makurdi, says the proposed dredging of the river will provide a lasting solution to the perennial flooding of the state. Apart from dredging of Benue River, the Vice President says additional drainage system will be constructed in the state. Governor Samuel Ortom asked the presidency to assist in the dredging of the river and complete the ongoing drainage project. In our related development, Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State has expressed concern that food shortage is imminent following the devastation of farming communities of the state by heavy rainfall and massive flooding. The governor, while visiting affected villages, says the 1 week rainfall in the state has washed away large portion of farmlands and food shortage facilities. Benue, according to him, is an agrarian state and had invested in agriculture, but now fears that the expected bumper harvest is now elusive. The governor thanks President Muhammadu Buhari for promptly directing the National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief material to more than 100,000 people displaced by flood in the state. The heavy rainfall has also flooded most parts of Makurdi, the state capital. Now, away from Benue State, Guinness Nigeria PLC has announced a gross profit of 48.3 billion naira, which is 16% higher as against the previous year. It also announces an operating profit of 10.2 billion naira, representing an increase of 131% year on year. The results released to the Nigerian Stock Exchange also indicate a 23% increase in its revenue for the full year ended 30 June 2017. The company's managing director and chief executive officer, Peter Ndegwa, says the company's result were driven by a relentless focus on executing their strategy and keeping costs down. The company's gross profit of 48.3 billion naira, explains, is as a result of volume growth, pricing benefit, and a favorable sales mix as they continue to invest in the expanded brand portfolio during the year. Part of that investment includes the 4.7 billion naira spirit line for locally manufactured spirits, which they commissioned in Benin to fill the gaps in the spirit brand base, following them to complete across all categories of the alcoholic beverage market in Nigeria. Guinness Nigeria plc in December 2015 became the first total beverage alcohol company in Nigeria when it acquired the right to distribute international premium spirits, including Johnny Walker's Scotch, whiskey, and Bailey's liquor. Later in January 2016, it acquisitioned the right to distribute McDowell's, a United Spirit Limited whiskey brand. Officials of the World Bank have arrived in Ogun State to inspect major road projects being constructed by the state government ahead of the bank's disbursement of its proposed budget support grants to the state. The state government last month has sought the approval of the National Assembly for $350 million grant from the World Bank. The State Budget Commissioner, Aderinle Adesina, announces the presence of the World Bank's officials in the state to newsmen at the end of the weekly meeting of the State Executive Council, presided over by Governor Ibikunle Amosun at the Governor's Office of Kemoson Abeokuta. The World Bank team, according to him, will be in the state for a week to assess the level of work on the road project and to also determine the justification for the proposed grant that the state government is seeking for. Meanwhile, the Finance Commissioner, Wale Oshinawa, says the state government has finalized plans to release more funds for the quick completion of the ongoing project in the state and to also meet up with the 2019 deadline set by the Amosu administration for their completion. Alright, 20 minutes before 12, this is Economic Trend on your dial station, Rock City 101.9 FM. And moving on with stories. 26 ships loaded with petroleum products, food items, and other goods are expected to arrive at Papa and Tinkan Island Port in Lagos from September 7 to September 23. The Nigerian Port Authority (NPA) in its publication Shipping Position says the ships contain bulk wheat, bulk corn, bulk sugar, base oil, empty container, bulk maize, frozen fish, bulk salt, petrol, and containers laden with goods. 10 ships had already arrived at port waiting to berth with bulk fertilizer, bulk maize, steel product, diesel, and petrol. 22 other ships are currently at the port discharging bulk wheat, bulk corn, bulk fertilizer, general cargo, bulk gypsum, bulk sugar, frozen fish, petrol, butane, and crude palm oil. President Muhammadu Buhari has said the news of the exit of Nigerian economy from recession will not be fully appreciated unless it translates into improved living condition for the people. But the Statistician General of the Federation, Dr. Yemi Kale, addressing newsmen in Abuja, says Nigeria still needs to go through some stages before the people will feel the effect of the exit from economic recession. Kale explains that the impact will not be felt immediately because of the structure of Nigerian economy, which is still being driven by the oil sector. Niger Delta Forum, led by elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark, has asked the coalition of Niger Delta not to actualize its threats to renew the attacks on oil installations in the Niger Delta region. The forum also asked the militant to withdraw its quick notice on people from the southwest region and northern state in the Niger Delta region. The forum, in a statement signed by its coordinating secretary, Dr. Alfred Mulad, says the threats are uncalled for considering the progress in its dialogue with the presidency on the region's 16 points demand. It, however, asked the presidency to revisit the recent appointments in Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, which were dominated by northerners. Paint and Coating Manufacturers Nigerian plc and Avon Crown Caps and Containers Nigerian plc will soon be delisted from the daily official list of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, as scheme of arrangement between both companies and holders of their fully paid up ordinary shares of 50,000 naira each will lead to the delisting of both companies' entire shares from the NSE. Individuals company regulatory document from the NSE signed by the acting head of Listings Regulation Department, Godstime Iwenekai, confirms that painting and coatings as through its stockbroker Maritime Security Limited submitted an application for a scheme of arrangement between the company and holders of its fully paid up ordinary shares of 50,000 naira each. The scheme, according to him, will lead to the delisting of the entire shares of Paint and Coating Manufacturers Nigeria PLC from the daily official list of the exchange. For Avon Crown Caps and Containers Nigeria PLC, a like-mannered application for a scheme of arrangement between the company and stakeholders of its fully paid up ordinary shares of 50,000 naira each. The scheme submitted through a stockbroker, Integrated Trust and Investment Limited, will lead to the entire shares of Avon Crown Caps and Containers Nigerian PLC being delisted from the daily official list of the exchange. Management of Egbin Power Plant near Ekpe, Lagos will double the capacity of the power plant from the current 1,320 megawatts to 2,740 megawatts by the year 2020. The management says it is shopping for $1.5 billion investment to achieve these, and the plant's managing director and chief executive officer, Dallas Peavy, made this known while addressing journalists during the visit of United States Ambassador to Nigeria and some congressmen to the premises of the company. Peavy says that they have started talking to international organizations, including General Electric and some other partners, to achieve that. He explains that just after the takeover of 2013, the plant was operating below 30% capacity and had some challenges, and they had to invest over $400 million to address some of them. And at present, Peavy says that the plant now have more than 1,000 employees and some or more than 500 residential houses, hospitals, clinics, and schools at the plant. Furthermore, he posited that the place was built by the Japanese 30 years ago and facilities have become unusable. The plant, according to him, is now operating at 90% efficiency and trying to activate 700 megawatts the plant that are idle and not being utilized. And also it says that the company is being owed 125 billion naira by the Nigerian bulk electricity traders as at 1st August 2017. Alright, that is it on Economic Trend on your dial station, Rock City 101.9 FM, the program that gives you trendy business and economic stories. Join us again on Monday for another fresh edition. Till then, do have a fantastic weekend. My name is Ololade Sanyaolu. Bye for now.